Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is DB Automotive. My name is Brian James. Now, if you're a subscriber to the channel, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you've been linked here from another site or somehow you've managed to find us, thank you very much. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like what you see. So, what is this channel about? Okay, basically, it's about my design philosophy or my life philosophy. When it comes to my hobby, which is cars. I would rather rebuild, renew, or restore an older vehicle than go out and buy a new vehicle. To that extent, again, if you've been following, you'll know, but what you see behind me is a Chevron. It's a Clubman style car, and I'm busy rebuilding it. Also, if you look at some of the other videos that have been posted up on this channel, you'll also find things to do with a 1963 SB3 Bedford bus. Okay, that's about me. That's about the channel. Let's get on to what's been happening. Now, look, I've got to apologise. I didn't make any video last week. Now, I do try and post a video each week. But last week was a little bit difficult for me. It was like I was taking one step forward, two steps back. And we'll get on to that. But what you want to know is what have I been up to with my car? Now, you will notice it's looking a lot different. 2 weeks worth of work will do that to you, or it. So, why don't I grab you off the tripod, because I'm pretty sure it's fairly uncomfortable for you up there, and we will take a walk around and I'll go through what I've been doing. So hang on a sec. Okay, I don't have to talk too loud because I've got a microphone on. First up, we'll note that I've got tyres now on the wheels. Now, I do have a design philosophy, and we'll get into that in a second. So we've now put tyres on. Tyres, yay! I've put the guards on because we're going to be setting up the indicators. Now, I do have an indicator to go up onto the top of the guard where it can be nice and well seen. And I've also got indicators to go into the side of the bar. You'll notice I've got my Brooklands bar. Okay, so that's for the wind deflectors. It's not a windshield. They're not windshields. Here in New Zealand, they're called wind deflectors, so I don't have to worry about them for warrant of fitness time because their glass is just a little bit too small. Also starting to set up the harnesses, the seats. Let's take you around a bit more. The wiring loom. So as you'll see, that the motor is filthy as hell, but we've got all the wiring set up in the motor now, and I'm starting to get the wiring ready for the indicators and front end. Now, the brake lines I'll be talking about, this is what we're talking about, these ones here. They've been a massive pain in my bum. Some more of the wiring. Now we've got a steering wheel, and so I had to make an adapter to go between the existing steering wheel and the quick release that I bought for my steering wheel. So if we just squeeze that, that comes off, and that makes it a lot easier for me to get in and out of the car. There we go, on it goes again. I will be putting a bar for the back of the seats. I'm not a big fan of just having the seats there with no support, so we'll be welding a bar in underneath here with some little metal loops to hold the harnesses where I want them to be held. And we've also got the LED whip. That's from Gorilla Whips. I'll just there. Doesn't want to focus. But anyway, it's from Gorilla Whips. So let's put you back up on the tripod and we will go over some of the things. Okay, first of all, let's go over the tyres. Now you'll note that these are quite a thin tyre, and I've specifically gone for these tyres. They're a 175 65 14. So the 14-inch rims were the original rims that the car came with. They're nice JDM rims, I really do like them. And I've deliberately chosen quite a thin section tyre. Now, this car is going to spend most of its life on the road. Now, I do have track day tyres, nice big sticky 17-inch 205 track day tyres. And so if I do want to play on the track, I've got those tyres and rims that I can put on, and away we go. But the problem being, those track day tyres are 205s for the front, 225s for the rear. The problem being that when you've got a light car, now this one should come through at around about, with me in it, 600 kgs. Okay, maybe a little bit more, let's be realistic, 650 or so. That is still a very light car. And with a big wide tyre on, you do run the risk of aquaplaning. Now, that's not fun. And it's certainly not a great idea. Also, track day tyres have quite a hard sidewall. They're designed for it. So your normal cars, part of the suspension is the flex in your sidewall. Also, nice thin section, 175, it will cut through water. No doubt I will be driving in water, it's just something that is going to happen. So for me, they're cheap, they're effective, what more could you want? Now, you might think that, modern day technology, and you're right, modern day technology has helped the smaller tyre. And the reason I say that is that Caterham in the past year or two released what I believe is called the Heritage Collection, and they're thin tyres. I think they're 155s. They're really thin. Now, all the tests that I've watched on YouTube and online about these cars, which by the way, an absolutely beautiful car, I absolutely do love them, they're saying that the handling is really good in them. People, even though they've got a 600cc turboed motor in them, they clip along quite well. So we will find out what these actually go like. So now we've got the Gorilla Whip up the back. I'll tell you my thoughts on that. Because once again, I'm driving mainly on the road, I was afraid that the car with that whip would look like an RC car. It doesn't. But what it does do is that in traffic, if you're in heavy traffic, you're almost invisible. Now, you're not invisible to the person that's directly behind you. They'll see you and, hey, they may even appreciate your car. Pretty colours go a long way. But the soccer mum in the SUV that you're following, you're below her rear vision mirror. And let's just say that you're in between two SUVs. Not uncommon nowadays. The person behind those SUVs may think that there is a gap there that they can fit in. So they perform an overtaking manoeuvre only to find you're there. If they've got oncoming traffic, they're going to squeeze you out. So anything that can stop a potential accident has got to be a good idea. That's where that whip comes into it. LED whip, I light it up green. It can be seen for a very long space. Even in fog, last Fraser 5000 we were doing, it was quite foggy on one of the days. I had the whip going and people remarked that they could see it quite well. Now, let's get on to the bad day that I had. The 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Now, it all came down to those brake lines that I showed you. So it was something that was out of my control. I'd contracted a well-known brake and transmission place here in New Zealand to make these lines for me. I don't have a hydraulic press here to be able to make them, so I'm not allowed to, and I can't. And it's easier to get someone else to do them. You provide them with the details, they will make the lines for you. They got the front brakes right, but these 3 lines, they got wrong. Now, I gave them the specs for it, and what you got to understand is, I live rural. The town that they're in that did them is that way, and where I work is that way. So for me to go in there and drop stuff off or pick stuff up, it's 50 kilometres out of my way to do that. So it's actually quite a journey. So I ring them up, I tell them what I want, I give them all the dimensions. I came home, I double checked the Woolwood master cylinders, which are 3/8 UNF. Not a problem, they said. 3 days, 4 days later, yep, you can come and pick them up. I'm a happy little camper. I go in, I pay the money, I come, I pick them up. They don't fit. So instead of putting 3/8 UNF on the ends, they put M10 by 1.5. Okay, ring them up. Okay, so how can we sort this out? And I said, now, in between the hose and the master cylinder, there's a nipple. I said, that nipple is 3/8 UNF. How about we get one that can go into the master cylinder, but is M10 by 1.5. That way you don't have to make a new line. They thought this was a good idea, so I'm always trying to help. A few days later, yep, come in and pick it up. Okay, so this time I took in the master cylinder and the line, because, you know, you need to check these things. There they had the nipples there, so I screwed it in and it didn't seat on the master cylinder. It was about 5mm too short. So he said, oh, okay, what we'll do is we'll get it sorted. Can you bring in all 3 lines, please? Yeah, sure. So once again, another journey in and out, brought them the lines. Again, about a week later, yes, you can come and pick them up. We've got them all sorted. And it turns out that they'd made new lines. Cool, rightio. So they said, you don't need the nipple. You can throw the nipples away. These lines will just go straight into the master cylinder and seal. And they did screw right up. It looked like they screwed right up, but they didn't. The thread ended too far up and it didn't seal. It was about 1mm off. It was almost sealing. Now, not wanting to put a tap down the master cylinder, I had to take the lines to my work and machine a little bit of that thread off so they could screw right in. Now, it wouldn't be so bad, but the fact is they ignored everything I asked them to do each time. And so it's simple. You just do what the customer wants, not what you think he needs, because they don't know what I'm doing. I just give them what I want. And that was incredibly frustrating for me. You know, you look, I understand that when you're so invested mentally and emotionally in a project, it can be very difficult when things go wrong that are out of your control. And that comes to where I was going to, my point for the day, actually. It's easy to get despondent when things don't go your way. I understand it. I get the same way. Sometimes you need to just stop, take a breath, maybe even walk away for a day or so, not think about it, and then come back to it with a clear, level head. It's easier to just give up and walk away, but you'll always be hard on yourself about that. Every time you see something that you had given up on, you'll be thinking, oh, I wish I could have finished my one. And look, I've got projects in that category. My 2 Mark 7 Jags, I never got going. I wished I did, but it was never going to happen. They required more skill than I actually had at that time. So that's why I say, take small bites at your project. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is still a step forward, even if sometimes you're going backwards. And so we finally got the brake lines in. I'll get them bled up in the next week or two. And we're starting in on having to do the electrics. And hopefully the timeline is I want this started in November and test and tune for December. So I've actually got it where I can run it around the road and I can start fettling and getting through any little problems before the 5,000k run around New Zealand. That's the Fraser 5000. It circumnavigates New Zealand, North and South Island, and it goes for 5,000k. So I need to have the car properly sorted by then. So what's coming up next week? I hear you scream. Actually, you're not going to notice a lot of difference. A lot of things that need to be done are time consuming and they're going to be very superficial in the sense that they're not dramatically going to enhance it. But it'll be screwing the floor up into the body, screwing down the scuttle panel, getting the bar welded for the seats. And once I've got all of that, and I've got to make a bracket for the fuel pump as well. Then I can put the aluminium tray tub in there and start screwing things down and getting things sorted. Okay, look, I think I've waffled on enough for the day. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch, especially if you've managed to watch to the end. If you like what you see, please hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask. And you guys have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye.